Police officers and first responders wear badges to let their communities know they are here to protect and serve. But it comes at a price. Samantha Horwitz and John Salerno work with police departments across the country to bring valuable recovery, insight resources, and workshops. A Badge of Honor TV brings those professionals to you so we can come together and revitalize communities through a better understanding of what's at stake and what's required for repair. So take a load off and turn up your TV. It's about to get real.
Hey, welcome to A Badge of Honor TV. We are powered by the OBBM Network. You're with John and Sam on this Mental Health Monday and National Coffee Day. Go figure. We got to keep our coffee, keep our proper chemistry going with the proper coffee. So, but before we start, Sam, me and you've been talking the last 24 hours. Actually, now it's probably the last 48 hours. We've had 3 mass shootings throughout the nation. And many people were injured and or killed through these shootings. And A Badge of Honor wants to send our direct prayers, thoughts and prayers out to the family and friends that were impacted by this. And we also want to send out a big kudos to all our law enforcement brothers and sisters who put their lives on the line each and every day. And in Michigan, stopped an assault from further happening. So God bless you guys. Keep up the great work. We have your back always, and keep us safe, throughout our nation.
Yeah, it's been a little bit. John's in an area of Texas where apparently some sunspots are just settling over him. No, I don't know. I don't know, but hopefully your tech troubles will abate as we keep going with the show. We got, as this news is rolling in throughout the weekend, we were doing a workshop actually over in Capel. Thank you, Capel Police and Fire, for bringing us in. And one of the topics that we always touch on is, finding your purpose. We start with remembering your why you got onto the job, why you swore the oath. And it goes further into what your purpose is, because we all know no matter what job you're doing out there, particularly as first responders, there is a point in the career path where you realize you don't really have control over your job at all, number one. And as you move towards retirement, things maybe in your family have changed. Maybe you've become disillusioned. I mean, social media and what's going on out there certainly doesn't help. And there comes a time, the more trauma and stress that we are exposed to, the more difficult it is to really connect with a purpose, or even see ourselves beyond what we've become in the job. And our guest tonight, Ben, is certainly no stranger to that. And boy, has he done a deep dive. He's very open about his story. And I know for everybody watching and listening on their favorite podcast app, you're going to be impacted tonight by Ben's story and his wife, Amanda, who, people don't think about the support systems behind the scene. But when you have a person who serves, the whole family serves. So what it's like to live, frankly, with not only a veteran, but a law enforcement officer who realize, hey, got some issues to take care of. And Amanda's got a powerful story as well. And together they're changing lives through our favorite thing, John, coffee. Again, happy National Coffee Day. So without further ado, let's bring on Ben and Amanda Holmes. They own together East Texas Legends. Yes, cheers, guys. Thank you so much. Welcome to A Badge of Honor TV.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for having us on.
You bet. So whichever one of you wants to start, just give us a little bit of background, and then we'll dive deep, Ben, into your story with being a veteran. I always, you're a Marine. You're always a Marine. So it's kind of like a Marine veteran. No, you're a Marine. And you started there, and now fast forward a bunch of years, you're in coffee. There's a bunch of things that went on. We'll cover that. But whoever, Ben, Amanda, whoever wants to start, just telling us a little bit about you all.
For starters, it's not a bunch of years, all right? I mean, come on, let's not get that far yet, okay? No, before we get, I guess, probably too emotional, I'll probably let Amanda start because she has a tendency to cry sometimes.
Oh, gosh.
So that's okay. That's what makes it real, right?
Right. That's why we balance each other.
Right.
Yeah, so we're a veteran law enforcement and rancher-owned small business out here in East Texas. We're based in Lindale, which is right outside of Tyler. And we started a coffee company 3 years ago. And every quarter we give back to veteran organizations that help vets with PTSD, just because it's part of our mission. It's part of our story. And so it's the way that we've, wanted to give back. So that's kind of our purpose behind it, is connecting with others and helping veterans, just like Ben's gotten a lot of help along his journey too.
Yeah. So Ben, you started as a Marine?
Yeah. So I had some injuries. I always thought I'd go to college, play collegiate sports. That was kind of the goal, right? Well, so just like everybody else, we don't always get to fit our agenda in with what God's plan is, right? So I had a few pretty significant injuries in high school that kind of made me rethink like what my future was. I grew up in a single child, I guess, with just my mother. And I remember having a conversation with her one day, just asking what's the plan for school? I mean, I always thought I was going to have scholarships. That kind of went out the door. And then my mom clearly was not wealthy at the time. And she said, well, I don't know, Ben, we'll just make it work. And in my mind, I didn't want to start my life out with just mounds of debt. I didn't feel like I was done challenging myself personally. I felt like I had something else to give. So not having a dad in the household, not really having a male figure in my life outside of people that I met just through other friends and whatnot. I kind of wanted to develop that side of me. So I wanted to go challenge myself. And that's why I chose the Marine Corps. It just kind of was a calling. I guess there was another individual that was a Marine as well. And it just put a pull on my heart to go that direction. So that's where I headed to. I spent just about 5 years in. It was about a year of training when I got to my unit, which was 2nd Battalion, 1st Marines out of Camp Horno and Camp Pendleton. I served with a CAT platoon for about 2 years, which is a heavy mounted guns, and was the senior radio operator for them. Also had a second billet as a tow and javelin gunner. So I did that for about 2 years. And then roughly 2 years with Scout Snipers. That was also a part of weapons company. Had a few options, I guess. If I promoted, fortunately, pretty quickly in my time in, and I knew if I didn't want to be stuck as an E5, I needed to, find a billet for myself, a B billet, it's what we call it. And if I could find a B billet in the direction I wanted to go, that was kind of going to be my answer. Unfortunately, they were all full, and I didn't want to be an E5 for the next 4 years, so I kind of took it as a sign to get out. And it was like literally once the Marine, I always told everybody I was going to re-enlist. That really was my goal. And once people found out, meaning my superiors, that I wasn't actually going to stay in, it's kind of crazy how that switch just flips, and you can see that you're no longer a tool, a part of the organization. And it's like, all right, we're kind of done with you, let's get you out of here. And that process, we got back from Iraq on my last deployment. Oh gosh, I want to say it was probably mid-October, and my EAS date was November 17th. So everybody went home on leave to see their friends and family after 8 months deployment in Iraq. And it was me there by myself, and they're just pushing me out the door. Not really a lot of help or guidance as far as, really anything. It's unfortunate that it's kind of that way, but when they see that that you're done, that you're moving on. It's kind of, let's groom the next person, and you're no longer a priority. So, so that exit was very quick for me, and came home, just not really sure what the heck I was going to do. I honestly thought I was going to stay in, and that didn't work out. So tried a lot of different jobs for probably the next 2 to 3 years, from sales to construction, and really just wanted to get back to something familiar. So got an application submitted to a jail at Rowlett Police Department, just to get my foot in the window, and foot in the door, I guess. And they accepted me, did pretty well in the jail. Within a couple of months, they already offered for me to kind of put in as a police officer, patrol officer, and then they put me through the academy. So I went through the academy with Rowlett Police Department, stayed there roughly a year, and we slowly just kind of moved further north. Went to Saxe, realized that there wasn't much room for growth there. So then we went up to Princeton, and worked in Princeton. That was 2 years, I guess. So it just kind of, I don't know. From there, it just, along the way, I mean, there were obviously some hiccups along the way, and just part of our story. But I really started seeing, from talking to, there was another couple that I served with, and multiple conversations with them. And her name's Miranda, and she actually told me one day that she thought I didn't seem the same, and she really recommended that I seek some type of help, or reach out to the VA and try and figure out, what's going on. And it's kind of crazy. I don't even know that Amanda knew that I asked, or that they spoke to me about that, and about that same time, right?
Yeah.
Is when she applied behind my back for Heroes and Horses.
Yeah, I want to pick up with that, but we got to go to our first break, so we'll leave everybody on a cliffhanger, because that's an amazing organization, and I want to give it the time that we have to explain the story. So we will be right back to continue with Ben and Amanda Holmes. Stay tuned, everybody. Be right back.
When you choose Patriot Mobile, you're not just picking a wireless provider. You're choosing a company that shares your values. It's easy to switch, and you can keep your number, your phone, and most importantly, your values. With Patriot Mobile, you get the power of nationwide coverage on all 3 major networks. That means wherever life takes you, we've got you covered on the same reliable networks you already know and trust. And when you need us, we're here for you right here at home. Our customer service is 100% US based, because we believe that support should come from people who understand you and your values. At Patriot Mobile, you're not just another call, you're a priority. In today's world, where you spend your money matters more than ever, every dollar is a vote for the kind of future you want to build. Join the thousands of Americans making a difference with every call, every text, and every connection. Choose a company that shares your values. Choose Patriot Mobile.
Hey, real quick, it's scrolling across the bottom of the screen. If you want a free month of service, act now, patriotmobile.com/badge, or call 972-PATRIOT. Tell them a Badge of Honor sent you. And again, free month of service. Thank you, Patriot Mobile, for being such a loyal partner. Now back to the show.
Is that me?
I was throwing it back to John. John.
Oh, okay, John.
Did I freeze? Did you freeze?
All right. Well, I thought I froze. Hey, well, welcome back. Before we took that last break, Ben was telling us the story on how he got to this point. But Ben, you used a word in telling us about your journey that really just kicked into my brain. You said the military groomed you.
You're freezing up, John. I think he said the military groomed you. Yeah.
Yeah, you use the word groomed. And it's funny you say that, because it looks like all our services, our military, our police department, not so much the fire department, but these services groom us into a mentality that makes us change our identity from the person who we are to the person that they want us to be. And then at the end of our service, they don't help us get back to that person they originally had, that we originally were. And, you know, it's used in so many different, what is it? I don't want to use the word because I don't want to be shadow banned out, but in children, you know, and teachers and stuff, and those people that are going after kids, it's almost the same thing. Once they're done with you, they just throw you away and discard you without any backing.
Yeah.
So it was, you know, that word just kicked my ears up, man.
Yeah. So, I mean, kind of hinting towards back that, I mean, we all have a story. We all have an upbringing. I am a huge believer in, you know, your growth as a child isn't always necessarily going to make you who you are, but it's a part of who you are.
Mm-hmm.
I had a very interesting household growing up, but with my household, that made me very, I guess, moldable or shapeable, you know, for those kind of male figures, right? I mean, I wanted to be a man, right? And having a single mom with all her friends didn't really teach me how to be that. So for me going into the Marine Corps, I think I was a little different circumstance because I was wanting so much more than probably a lot of the individuals around me. And really what it did was it, you know, you're talking to somebody. I wanted to be a youth minister growing up. Like the only male figures I had around me were my youth leaders. And for that type of mentality, I mean, you could just imagine there's probably an empathetic, like soft side with that kind of lifestyle, if you imagine,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
So for me to come out of the Marine Corps, that side was gone. I mean, my empathy, you know, they basically taught me how to turn a switch off to accomplish the mission. And it's unfortunate, but I mean, going forward a lot further, you know, when we had my daughter, I was closed off from feelings. I've wanted a kid and family since I was little, you know, that's something I wanted, not having that. And to see my daughter born and not necessarily be able to experience that, I mean, that's hard, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So, and Ben, we shared a private conversation about how your choice of going into police work after your service probably wasn't the best thing and contributed to kind of you being more closed off. Amanda, I want to ask you, because we do focus on spouses here. You're the one that kind of drew the line in the sand, and Ben didn't know that you put in an application for Heroes and Horses. I mean, what were you seeing directly at home?
Yeah. And so it's kind of unique because I didn't know Ben before he was in the service. I met him after, more so in the law enforcement. But from hearing his friends that he spoke of earlier, he had a buddy that served, was very intense in some things overseas. He found help. I heard that family talk to him about how they were seeing differences in Ben before the Marine Corps to Ben now when we were getting married. And I knew what PTSD was. You know, they had talked about the term. I'd heard it before. I didn't know how to help it. And so I was looking for resources, which is where I found Heroes and Horses. And so that's a nonprofit. It was started by Micah Fink, who is a Navy SEAL up in the mountains of Montana. And so I read into the organization, sounded like a great fit for, you know, Ben's not the guy that's going to be behind the computer. Like, this is out in the mountains. This is hard work. And they talk about redefining your purpose. It's not going to be an easy journey, and we're going to delve into some heavy stuff. And it just sounded something that resonated with me when thinking of Ben. So I applied for that program. And they told me, and I was very clear with them. I'm like, hey, listen, I'm the wife. And I think he'd be a good fit. But at the end of the day, he's got to be the one to say he wants to go do it. And so they read over, you know, his past information about being deployed in Iraq and kind of what he served as over there. And they quickly told me we would love him to come to the program. We're going to need to talk to him. So that's where I think we went out to eat, and I'm like, hey.
Surprise!
You're going on a trip, Ben.
Yeah.
So
you know there's a mistake when she leads it with there's a lot of horses. I know, you know, you get to ride horses. Then, okay, what's the catch here? All right.
You ever been to Montana?
Horses, right? Not Mustangs.
Yeah.
That's basically how that went. And thankfully he was open to the opportunity and accepted I think he was one of 12 that went up there during one summer and did some pretty intensive backcountry work on themselves and with horses. And it was great. You can talk about your experience.
Yeah. Before we talk about that, we got to take another quick break.
Yeah.
When we come back, Ben, if you don't mind, can you talk to us about the changes that you were experiencing and the stuff that you knew wasn't going right, and again how the police were kind of shut you down even more. So we'll talk about that when we come back from our next break. Stay tuned, everybody. We'll be right back.
Look, when you need to respond to an aggressive situation to protect yourself, your family, or your property, understanding your firearm and legal position are critical. Officers know your skills are only as good as your commitment to training. So know what you're doing. So when you're in a vulnerable situation, we can count on your response. Whether you're a beginner or a licensed gun carrier, Carry in Texas offers basic firearms training, Texas permitless carry courses, license to carry, and basic 2A courses so you can understand the responsibilities, situational awareness, and learn the technical skill required when you carry your firearm. Go to carryintexas.com to find the right course for you. Join me, former United States Secret Service agent Samantha Horwitz, on the range for beginner basics, LTC prep, and range practice. Go to carryintexas.com today. That's carryintexas.com.
Hey, welcome back to A Badge of Honor TV with John and Sam, with our special guests, Ben and Amanda Holmes with Legends Coffee. But, you know,
East Texas Legends.
East Texas Legends. But what got you to this point in your life was the hard struggle and reason.
Hey, John, you're breaking up pretty badly. So I'll just take it real quick. So what we talked about before the break is what changes were you experiencing and seeing in yourself, Ben, where you knew like, hey, there's something going on here. I'm a police officer now, so we traded one uniform for another. There's a purpose, that you wanted to fulfill, and a mission there, but it wasn't quite working out.
Yeah. So, I mean, what the Marine Corps did, it was kind of created a monster, and then going into law enforcement, I guess, kind of extended the abilities that I had. And what I mean by that is I was just able to completely kind of shut off from the world, the empathy, just those things that kind of make us human, right? And the feelings. And it allowed me or taught me how to really just kind of focus on the job. And I became an expert at reading people from, just their actions, their demeanor, and I just became a good hunter, basically, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. And with my time in law enforcement and just that go mentality, the experience that I had, I mean, I was just kind of running circles around my other officers, just with my intense, I guess, interactions, and just the ability to stay focused and driven and find whatever I was looking for. And it just, I'm not going to say that I didn't have leniency with the people I was interacting with, because clearly I'm not out to just get everybody, but I was just very driven. And so much so that carried into the home life, as far as, if there was something going on at home, I was driven in the aspect of I may not necessarily allow Amanda to catch up with where I was at. And her, I guess, well-being was not the concern. The concern was the opportunity or the job that was in front of me. So Heroes and Horses is our way to kind of get back, because you can't have that self-driven mentality with a horse. I mean, they'll call you on it all day. You have to.
Yeah.
They're a prey animal, right? So
Mhm.
purely driven by that fear factor. And if you have a go get 'em mentality with a horse, you're pushing the horse away. So what Heroes and Horses did for me, I didn't know where I was at. When Amanda came to me with this, and when my friends came to me with this, I I didn't really, I wasn't self-evaluating at that point. Now the person in me and the father in me wanted to grow myself, but I didn't necessarily know what I was trying to change or grow. So when I went to Heroes and Horses, it was our last pack trip, I think. I'm pretty sure. Last pack trip, and it was like second to third last day on that trip. Everybody is experiencing all these highs and, kind of just that emotional roller coaster. When you talk about purpose, a lot of veterans lose their purpose. They were geared towards a job for so long. When they leave and they separate, they don't know what their new purpose is. And they have a hard time finding that, primarily because a lot of civilians don't want to give them the opportunity. And it's unfortunate, but you see these guys start to see a new purpose and realize, hey, life's not over. We had a Vietnam vet, right? Yeah. So he was oh gosh, what do you call it? He was in the Navy. He was attached to the Marine Corps, a medic. He was a medic.
Corpsman.
Corpsman, there we go. There's the word. He was a corpsman attached to the Marine Corps. And the guy went through the program. I mean, we're riding Mustangs in the backcountry, averaging 15 miles a day. He's in his 70s, I think, at the time. I mean, the guy, God love him, he shows what that true drive is, right? But he is broke. I mean, by the end of the program, he can't hardly move. But he was on the verge of losing his marriage and had no relationship with his kids, but he found a new purpose in realizing, hey, life's not over, right? So for me, I see all this happening with the people around me. I was getting frustrated. A lot of that has to do with, just like at boot camp, they try to break you, right? And then build you back up. So the core, the root of boot camp is to make it as intense as possible to get you to that breaking point and then build you back up to the man that they want you to be, right? I don't feel like I have that physical breaking point in a lot of aspects. I didn't have it at boot camp. I didn't have it at Heroes and Horses, but what I did have was a turning point where just thinking about it is crazy. But we crested this mountaintop, and it's I mean, just beautiful. I mean, you just see for miles, nothing around, just us, a group of men that are like brothers, right? And these horses. And it was like that switch of emotion. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, don't be sorry.
Don't be sorry. This is real.
That's your epiphany moment. That's your moment where your whole body starts to change. And that's a great thing. That's a good thing.
Yeah. That switch just turned on, and it was like a floodgate. Everything from my
You're doing good.
Everything from my marriage to my daughter being born just like captivated me. And it was like God said, you're there, you're where you're supposed to be. And I realized, my purpose isn't, it's not geared towards a career. My purpose is to break the tradition in my family of relationship after relationship and broken. Oh man.
Take your time. Just breathe.
And breaking that tradition of failed dads, right? And being, just being there to support my family. And everything that I've always wanted was already here. So for me, that experience just brought light to where I currently was, because, it's like we got good friends that I think they're actually watching. David and Tracy Calzaretta. He went through cancer treatment. And, if you focus on the whole goal, the length of time can be overwhelming. And so what, you have to sometimes focus on day to day and your experience, where you are, and then you can reflect. Those time of reflection is just as important. You've got to get through the challenge at times, but then you've got to be able to see and be self-aware enough to know where you are. And that's where I was. I was going through life like it was a mission and forgetting that I was missing what the mission is. For me, there would be no end if I didn't reflect to see where I am. And for me, it was to grow personally, to get beyond where I was and realize that I'm about to miss out on and lose that family that I wanted to break the trend for. So, my purpose is to be here and be a support for my family. And truly, I think it's to break that trend in my family.
What day was this for you? Like in Montana, what day was this around?
This was, I don't like the actual day. Like,
no, how many days in? How many days?
In? Yeah.
This was like, gosh, 6-7 days before we were done. I mean, this was
it 60 days.
Yeah, I think it's a 60-day program.
So, because this brings up a great point where, you know what, a lot of our first responders in our military, after 2 weeks or 30 days, they tend to get frustrated and give up. But you got to keep focused. You got to keep going on. And thank God you did, because if you would have given up inside or let your body quit on you, you would have never had that moment of enlightenment that you saw. I wear a number 41 on my neck, and this because it rained for 40 days and 40 nights per the Bible, right? But on the 41st day, it stopped. They didn't give up. And there's so many things that this comes in light to, is that we just can't give up. Because it's right there. If we just got to keep moving forward. And Ben, thank you for sharing that. That was impactful, emotional. I think a lot of our viewers resonate the same way with you. So thank you.
Exactly. Thank you so much. And John, I'll throw kudos to you, because you talked about this Friday again at our workshop. You know where you are. You have a purpose. Keep going. Take the next step. Never give up. There's always one more move. And when you are spoken to, I got chills still, Ben, you telling your story, that when you're spoken to, everything that happened in the past, that's in the past. And you clearly see almost like the footsteps of where you're supposed to step, or in your case, where you're supposed to ride next, and what it looks like. It opens up and it's all there for you. And the one thing you have to do is just take the step forward into the plan that's been set forward. And so thank you so much for sharing that and being real about it. What you guys have built. Now we would take a commercial, but you guys are right here. So for everybody watching the show, every week, exactly when we play the commercial, they're here live in person on the screen. That this, we'll go back and talk about the ranching. But you have built something with your family. You only have to visit your Facebook page or your Instagram to see how family oriented you all are. It is amazing. I got to meet your daughter yesterday, and it's heartwarming, because God said you are here for the family, for your family. And every single day in your business, your next purpose, you are doing exactly what he put in your heart. And, you know, real quick, how did coffee?
Yeah. So that's kind of interesting that, have you ever had if you've had an MRE, you'll understand my pain. Okay. So my mom despised coffee growing up, primarily because her mom forced her to make her coffee as she was a kid. So we didn't have coffee in my house. So my first experience was in the Marine Corps and MREs, right? You got those little Folgers or community instant stuff. Oh my gosh. This is brutal. So that's my experience in coffee. I went through the Marine Corps just shooting that stuff just to give me a little pep in my step, thinking that was coffee and I'd never like it. Well, you know, it's funny. Ethan Forrester was one of the cowboys on at Heroes and Horses. And every morning, just like a briefing before you go on shift, right? It's 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning. We're getting the campfire going. We're throwing fresh grounds in the kettle, and all the guys are starting to gather around the campfire. You see who the crabby old crusty men are that are moving slow, that need their cup of joe. And then you see us young bucks that are already gibbering, you know, and talking to everybody, driving everybody nuts. Well, you start to, it's like, if you've ever been on ship in the military, you don't want to smoke, but you want to get out of the ship a little bit. So sometimes you go out to the smoke area just so you can see some fresh air, even though it's filled with smoke, right? Same thing for the coffee. It's the experience. So I started drinking this coffee on these backcountry trips, realizing this is actually pretty decent. So I brought that back with Amanda, and we have always been foodies and love traveling to go to different restaurants. And coffee kind of became that new foodie type hobby for us, and kind of became the new chapter, right? Not saying, you know, everything's fixed by any means, but it's a new chapter and something that we could start doing together. And we just, you know, we've always wanted to do something entrepreneurial together, something out of corporate America. She worked for United Healthcare at the time. We got real close to opening a CrossFit gym, and then I actually took this job here, so we didn't do the CrossFit, but we still had a niche and a need, kind of that desire to do something. And she was overwhelmed. At this point, she switched jobs and started working for a company called Aetna. And we saw a need for a local coffee shop in the city of Lindale. It's still a goal and aspiration for us to try and get in downtown, but it matched our lifestyle. CrossFit at the time matched our lifestyle. She's thrown out cotton candy and snow cone machine ideas before. That didn't necessarily match her lifestyle. So when I heard coffee, I was like, hey, you know, this could work. You know, this could be something. Allows us to commute with other people and interact. So really, I just think it was the desire of what a need is for the local area, and something both of us have good memories towards. You know, they say coffee is like 80% emotional base, which is memories, right? Everybody talks about the Hawaiian coffee. Yeah, that coffee's not any good. It's the experience, right?
Experience, right?
Yeah. So that's what we want, is we want to experience that with people, and just be able to, you know, interact and meet other people. And it's a way to give back a little bit.
Yeah. Well, your coffee is outstanding. You know, when we met at Canton, first Mondays, I was like, you know, it's another coffee sample, right? And I was just like, well, hold the phone here, because John, you know, we're like coffee connoisseurs. It's not just, you can't just put anything in front of us and we're like, you know, we're not snobs, we're almost there, but we know good coffee, all right? And you guys have amazing coffee. Our favorites, the Diablos, the dark roast. You can you guys do the K cup, the pods, as well as whole bean and ground. Just gonna say, every once in a while, I like a little flavor. Spice maple is my jam. I've tried the other flavor, the Texas pecan, awesome. After hours, gotta experience it. That is something special. But spice maple is my jam, and sometimes I mix stuff together. I do Sam, the coffee scientist. But guys, you heard Ben and you heard Amanda. It's not just about coffee. It's about giving back, and coffee with a purpose. So every time you purchase coffee, you are going to have the opportunity for Ben and Amanda to give back to a nonprofit of their choice. We're so happy that we are partnered together. Go to the banner's been up there, etxlegendscoffee.com. Use promo code BADGE. You're going to get 15% off because everybody else does 10. Yeah. 15% off, not only coffee, but merch. And the merch is awesome. Merch. Okay. And they'll ship it right to you. Go if you really fall in love with it, like Steve and I have. We're getting the 5-pounder because we like coffee. And so etxlegendscoffee.com, promo code BADGE, 15% off. Take advantage of it today. It's National Coffee Day, people. So when the show's over, go to the link below and place your order. So that's the commercial part. So I'm going to take the banner down. So
Sam, you brought up a good word too. Yeah, I'm just picking words out, and it's the experience about coffee. You can get coffee at QT, 7-Eleven, anywhere else, and that cup of coffee on your way to work is just like 87 fuel. It's just boom, just to get you to work. But what you guys have provided, it's more of an experience. It's a back deck at night, sitting down, just relaxing, unwinding, and enjoying. Just, it's not a gulping coffee as you're going through, traffic down on I-20. It's a sitting down with your spouse and just relaxing and enjoying the aroma and getting the full blend of the coffee. That's what you guys are providing.
And then walking out your door. And then walking out your door with a to-go tumbler, again, 15% off with whatever you like to get into traffic, to enjoy your commute because you're enjoying the coffee. It's not. Right, exactly. It's not what you just said. Yeah, it is. It'll change your life because it's coffee with a purpose. That's all I'm saying. Coffee with a purpose. So get some today. So. Ben, the ranching part did that come from Heroes and Horses? Like that was a way to keep working stuff out?
Yeah. So basically I went through you talk about purpose as far as career wise, which could be another day, but I was kind of at the end of my rope for full-time law enforcement the same time that I went through this program. And I went through this program just kind of like, all right, God, I'll do this. Clearly, this is the direction I go. I don't know where to go from here, but went to the program, graduated the program, and within a couple of weeks, I got a call from, I don't know if it was Micah or one of the other guys up at the shop in Manhattan, but they basically said they had a trial program they were going to start. And what it was going to be an advanced program following what we just did, but it would be the next year, and it would teach us, I guess, a more intimate, specific type training on working with the horses. There was 4 of us that were invited back to do this. And the caveat to that, we would get paid. I mean, ranch hand, pay, so it ain't great. But we had to give back with one of the other groups that summer. So I went up there a month before the program and then served one of the groups that summer. So there were 2 years of kind of back and forth work with them. And again, I didn't know where that was going to lead. I think we got home, right? Mm-hmm. Did I get home? And I got a call from Mark and Frida Bishop, who own the Sombrero Ranch out of Colorado, one of the largest horse ranches in the country. I think they provide a lot of the horses for a lot of the outfitters for backcountry hunts, as well as, different movies that need horses. But my current boss called them asking for a horse guy. Unfortunately, their guy passed away. and they needed somebody to come take care of the horse program. So Mark and Frida Bishop referenced me, announced to me, like I was not a part of that conversation. They called me and said, hey, you might get a call from this guy. And it was here in Lindale where the ranch is. And we at the time were living in Princeton. So hop, skipping away. Yep. And we were able to do an interview, and he offered me the job after the first interview. I said, well, maybe I should ask my wife first, because we had to move. Right. So at the time I asked Amanda to come out, and it didn't matter what mood she was in towards me. I think we were actually not great at that moment. And she got out here and she was like, oh, so that mood changed a little bit, and I could see in her face, she's like, oh, this is pretty. So it was like, it just fit. Right. I mean, it was like, clearly, you talk about the direction in life, and you reflect that this was kind of that reflection of, I think we just went through this the last 2 years to be at this spot.
Yeah.
I don't know why we're still here. We're still, doing our coffee thing. This has been a great place for me. And honestly, it's getting me back in touch with reality, because I have to interact with a lot of people, and I do have some kids and people that work under me. So it's just a constant reminder of, you can't just bark orders and accomplish the mission all the time. You got to be able to have emotion and interact with people correctly. So
yeah. And Amanda, is that the biggest change that you saw in Ben when he not only got back from the program, but the subsequent follow-up with the ranching and everything that he's doing now?
Yeah, 100%. Like, when you talked about Canton, when we go there, it's 4 long days of dealing with people, and I eat it up. I'm all about relationships, and Ben is too. But then he gets that moment on Sunday night when he was like, oh, I just need to breathe. And so it is. It's like being in those environments can be difficult for him, but he's so great in building relationships with people. And he wants that. So it's been cool to see him foster some really great relationships, be some mentors to some young kids that he's made, relationships here at the ranch. So yeah, it's been a cool journey to kind of see along the way.
Our
fantastic
name is Legends, right? And we came to that conclusion based off of great people throughout history. And if I could honestly say, if this tanks tomorrow, the amount of people that we have met has just been amazing. Like, I mean, we have truly just kind of fallen into a group of individuals that have the same like mind, that have been doing it longer than us, a lot of them. But just that alone has been the wisdom that we've seen and been able to just kind of partake in, has just been worth it, I think.
Yeah. And every order that we fulfill online, I write a handwritten note, and I really I'm up till 2 a.m. some nights, because I'm like, no, I've got orders to write a note to. And I just met one lady, she's had, 60 orders with us. I met her at the fair yesterday, and I went up and gave her a hug. I'm like, I am sorry if this is weird, but I feel like I know you. So yeah, hug back. I don't think she thought it was too weird, but
that's what it's about, right? That's the fuel. That's the fuel that keeps the fire lit. Yeah. And spending time with you guys today has just been absolutely amazing. I talked about your Facebook and your Instagram. Again, your mission, your purpose, your family, it's all right there for everybody to see and soak up. And it's adorable. The one with all of you jumping. Everybody just go on after the show to the Facebook page. You'll know which post it is, because they're all jumping, and whoever did that at social media there. But tell everybody where you play on social media.
We're on Instagram at ETX Legends Coffee, same thing on Facebook. And then we've got a little TikTok. If a 12-year-old wants to help me learn how to do a TikTok, we're trying our best. So hang in there. We're really busy, so we do our best on keeping our social game strong.
There we go. So again, it's ETXLegendsCoffee.com. Use promo code BADGE for 15% off. We want to thank you guys so much for coming on tonight. Ben, for being open, honest, vulnerable. Amanda, for talking from a spouse's point of view, which is huge. One of the things that's so important is that you took it upon yourself to go research, not only for your own knowledge and edification, but to be able to say, I think this is what he will connect with. Yeah. And so we want to encourage spouses out there to do the same thing. If you got a veteran or first responder spouse, sometimes you need to be the catalyst because you're serving too, you're seeing the changes, and do it for them, do it for your family. Because it is amazing, as you heard from Ben and Amanda tonight. So thank you again so much. Can't wait to get that 5-pound bag. But we did pick up some yummy goodies yesterday to tide us over.
We'll get it to you.
Awesome. Well, we will definitely be in touch. Again, everybody check out their Facebook and Instagram page and go grab yourself some East Texas Legends coffee. You will not be sorry that you did. It is outstanding. So we will be in touch. Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys.
Take care.
Take care. Oh gosh, this is so awesome.
Amazing.
Yeah. And we were laughing before the show because when we booked tonight, we had no idea it was National Coffee Day. So again, this just worked out. ETX Legends Coffee.com. Use promo code BADGE, 15% off. And it is to hear Ben's story. There are so many veterans that are now first responders. We know the journey of, dealing with the stress and the trauma that the job throws at you starts at childhood. John, you do a phenomenal job talking about the childhood experiences and how that can help or how it can sometimes hinder our resilience there. And I think it's important for everybody watching. If you are a first responder watching, if you're a veteran watching, if you're a family member of, send this episode out and say, hey, whatever you're going through, if this guy and this family can do it, you deserve it as well. Whether it is Heroes and Horses, which is a phenomenal program, heard about Micah Fink through Jocko podcast. Mm-hmm. And it is a life-changing program. Or if, you want traditional or non-traditional, it's super easy. You can just go on our website, abadgeofhonor.org. We've got all the partners and resources up there. Click on a logo, it'll take you right over there. But you heard it here tonight. So, always take the next step. And you'll fulfill what you need. But there is always one more move, like John likes to say. So to all the first responders out there, you have prayer warriors praying for your safe return to home every single night. Thank you for what you do, protecting our communities. For our veterans out there, thank you for fighting the good fight that allows John and I to do a show like this every single week. I almost said every single night. Wow, that would be a really big show. Yeah. Every single week. And for our active duty personnel spread out across the globe, thank you for what you do, keeping us safe here, keeping our shores safe here at home. John, take us home.
Hey, just keep remembering the number 41. Keep moving forward. Like Ben said, never give up, because your enlightenment is right around the corner. And if you give up, you're never going to be able to see it. So just keep striving forward, how you were trained, how you were born, what your body is telling you to do, and you will find happiness.
Till next week, everybody.
A Badge of Honor podcast is produced for the OBBM Network podcast and protected under copyright law. For content permissions, please submit your request to abadgeofhonor.com on the content page. For OBBM Network programming information, please call 214-714-0495 today.